Welcome back to Tech, Tesla and Trends. Tonight is Module 9, Leadership. Now there is, without a doubt, no more controversial leader in the world right now than Elon Musk, dividing people left and right in a major way. But that's not the reason I'm actually discussing leadership and Elon's style, or in this case, what I view as his next multidimensional advantage over others. The very first quality, I should say, that Elon possesses as a leader is his ability to recognize he made a mistake, and his expectation that the people he has around him will call him on a mistake or some other bad decision that has been made. Now, he expects them to have details and clear arguments as to why that was a bad decision. Obviously, your opinion means very little, but your details and the facts and the figures and the reasoning, very important. This is why those that have criticized the whole Tesla semi as an electric truck, say, some Bill Schmates guy who doesn't see the value or thinks that batteries are going to be too heavy, doesn't have the ability to truly understand it because he doesn't have the facts. He doesn't have the details of the energy density, and he's assuming that those who have informed him are correct. Now, when Elon asks people what their alternative is or what their solutions or proposals might be, one of the non-starters that he's often been handed back is hydrogen. Yeah, that's nice, but the whole point being, if you don't have legitimate details, specifics to actually counter what he has made as a decision, it's not a valid argument that's going to impact his leadership. In fact, he will continue to move forward. And this is by far one of the most important pairs, two sides of the same coin, that are important in leadership. The ability or humility to recognize you've made a mistake, and the ability and or fortitude to ignore the criticism and continue to move forward regardless of what others are saying. Both sides of this are important in a leader. Leaders that cannot recognize their own inability have problems. They make mistakes left and right and cause problems. Those that are willing to listen and learn are oftentimes rewarded extraordinarily. Now, I have listened to a lot of the pundits on the less than reliable news streams complain that Elon doesn't understand and he just has no idea what this internet thing is. But the reality of it is, where did Elon begin? Writing code. A little thing called Zip2. These are not nothings. He's aware of what the internet is, what its origins were, survived the dot-com bubble, and this matters. Leadership is about experience as well. And in this case, Elon is well aware of what to avoid. He is particularly reticent when it comes to recessions, as I'll discuss in Module 10 about finances. But anyways, we'll move on. Engineers are better than MBAs. Plain and simple. There will be no MBAs parachuting in behind the lines to land in Elon's chair someday. The only person who will succeed Elon Musk is an engineer. That's the only person. If you're not an engineer, you cannot possibly understand what's going on. Now, that's going to tick some people off, especially in the business community, because they think that their vaunted MBA is some great ticket to their ability to lead any company they want. But that's not what Tesla is. That's not what SpaceX is. That's not what Neuralink is. These are fundamentally technology companies seeking to evolve and grow where people are at. The technologies that enable people to do more, to be something else in regards to where they're working or the world that they're even on, in the case of SpaceX. This matters. A technologist is not a nothing burger, as some people have tried to make it. That's what Elon views himself as. So when you're thinking about what makes Elon different than another CEO, and he's not a CEO, he's the techno king of Tesla and other, which I think is hilarious because it plays on the egos of so many. It is simply an acknowledgement that the leader of a company is a position of leadership. And he is clearly identifying what exactly he does. Technology and king. Simple. Oftentimes there's confusion when it comes to what the CEO actually does in a company. In this case, it's very clear. Elon is about the improvement of the technology, where it's going, how it's manufactured, how to overcome the difficulties. If you look at where Elon's at, it will always be at the bottleneck. Wherever the biggest problem is in production, that's where you will find Elon. That's why he was sleeping on the floor in California during Model 3's production hell, because that's where the biggest bottleneck was. And this is an important quality of leadership. Lead from up front with your people. Do you think that the employees of Tesla would give as much as they give if Elon did not give back? I don't think so. Because they understand they're playing a different game than the rest of the companies on Earth. Tesla is changing the world. That is a stated goal, a stated expectation in their minds. They're participating in a bigger vision. Now, when a CEO or leader of a company can inspire that greater vision, that is golden magic in a bottle, or in some cases, just burnt hair. Again, gold in a bottle. The next item to take a look at is create innovation. It's your job. Elon is always looking at how to innovate, to change, to improve the way Tesla, the way SpaceX, the way the Boring Company, every company he is involved in, including Twitter, can operate. And there's a lot of people who are looking at his firing of half of Twitter as some mismanaged bumbling of a guy who doesn't understand. Or the later letter saying, hey, you need to sign on to do real work. They're not understanding. This is exactly what he is doing. He is leading these people back into a functional, profitable company. That is his role. His role to inspire, to lead, and to give direction. That is innovative at Twitter. It is so innovative at Twitter. So many people are not understanding that because they're viewing this from a political perspective. And that political perspective clouds their vision on the profit perspective and the function perspective of Twitter. The other thing that many people criticized Elon about was bringing people from Tesla and SpaceX, and I think the Boring Company, and potentially from Neuralink, I think, into Twitter on day one to analyze what's going on. But that is also one of the strengths that he brings, is that there isn't a stodgy, structured brokenness between his companies. Every Elon company is about the greater good, the greater whole, and moving the overall, the mission forward of making life multiplanetary. That's not just SpaceX. That's everything within Elon's creative touch. And so few people recognize that there is a greater goal at play at Tesla and Twitter. It's important to recognize that if you truly want to understand the leadership that Elon provides. It's focused, it's clear, and it's obvious if you're paying attention. But you have to walk away from the political shenanigans. Elon touches politics only because it's invading his world. If the politicians kept their mouths shut and stayed out of his lane, he wouldn't have to comment on them. And if they didn't threaten any of his companies, he wouldn't have to engage them. But that is the nature of their political world, not his. A response is not the triggering event. And that's important to keep in mind too. Looking at the next item in this is that no person should prevent innovation. And this is actually the reason why some of those politicians interfering and threatening Tesla and FSD and SpaceX through, delaying the launches of Starship. These are things that are impacting that leadership. And so from his perspective, they have to be countered. They have to be addressed because they become the bottlenecks of innovation. And this matters because it's not just at a government level that this sort of preventing of innovation occurs. And this is one of the reasons why if somebody tried to prevent an employee from talking to Elon, they can actually be fired. Because innovation, you have to enable it. As we mentioned last night, the spice must flow. That's the ideas. Now, an idea by itself is not necessarily good or bad or of any greater value. It's the information that's associated with that the ideas, the direction, the flow that matters. And then the next portion of that is related to that structural flatness that exists between all of the Elon companies. You can flow between companies as needed. And this matters because perhaps you have an idea that can make something better. You have a metallurgy idea for a rocket. Well, gee, that's great. As we mentioned before, what are they using for Cybertruck? That's pretty cool. So looking at that, and I think also the color for the SpaceX white is also something that came to Tesla because it was, it was an available option that was there, and the individuals involved shared that idea and brought it forward. looking at the next, and some of you are going, oh, it's just white. That's regardless. It's an innovation in taking something that's already developed at one company and bringing it across without the cost associated of development. This ebb and flow of ideas that Elon has encouraged and cultivated is a fundamentally radical leadership trait that enables a multitude of innovative ideas to cross-pollinate each other and to make the sum total of the Elon companies larger than the lone individual. Next on that list of things that, from a leadership perspective, that make Elon very different is that innovative focus from a team perspective. Now, a lot of people look at Elon and go, oh, he's making these dictates and he's got these ideas and he's doing it himself. Wrong. If you listen to Elon at any of these presentations, that be it from AI Day or Battery Day, every single one of them is a presentation of what the team is doing. Elon stands there as MC, and yes, he tries to simplify it for many of us, and there are some that criticize his oversimplifications, and that's fine. They can have their opinion, but the reality of it is, if it was all about Elon, nobody else would be on that stage, not another soul. And this is why Elon is able to attract the top talent in the world to work for his companies, because it's never about him. It's about them. It's about the greater whole, the group working together and winning. The next item in this that is defining for Elon is information matters. And as a leader, you have a responsibility to inform your people. What's the vision? How do you know you're on track? What are the metrics? This ability to provide fundamentally accurate and up-to-date, moment-to-moment information, as was revealed in that interview with Joe Justice, on your phone, on an app, available to those who are working on the floor or within Tesla to see where they're at, moment to moment. Did that change you just made improve the overall bottom line? You can know. This is gold. And it is something that is rarely, if ever, replicated in other companies. Some have tried. I don't know how well they've succeeded. I'm looking for examples of that. So if you've got an example of that, I would love to have. So drop that in a comment, and I'll take a look at that link. So for tonight, leadership. It matters. And I think if you'll ponder what's been shared here, I think you can see how oftentimes people are miscategorizing or misconstruing the things they observe when they're talking about Elon Musk as a leader. And this is not likely to change, because too many people focus on the caricature that is Elon Musk and fail to see the man working 100+ hours in a week. And that is just something that you can't fix. It is what it is. And the mainstream, lamestream media folks, they're just not going to get it. They can't get it because it's not part of the narrative that they're being fed in small little bite-sized words from their teleprompter. That's what they are. Elon is an entirely different leader. Someone who has true depth and presence. The words he speaks are the words he believes. anyone who truly knows people on the spectrum, and especially Asperger's kids, it's those you can recognize, and it's clear. From where Elon's at, the words he speaks are the truth. He may have an optimism bias a mile wide, and that makes him estimate timelines wrong. But he's estimating based on what he could do. And that's a flaw that he's aware of. He even jokes about his Elon time, but it is, again, that's that first point, recognizing what he does wrong and having that humility to move forward with it. So I'd love to have your comments and let me know what you think. What do you think I got right? What do you think I got wrong? That I would really like to know. Especially if you've got interviews and other things that you think have bearing on this particular conversation of leadership. For now, I'll talk to you later in the comments. See you later.